My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, folks, welcome back. Have you ever had the fantasy of having a rental property in the mountains, somewhere where you can go skiing and where you can, rent it out when you're not using it and that sort of thing? And then on the other hand, you'd like to have a property near the beach, somewhere tropical where you can kind of do the same thing. Well, today's guest, Kim Cano, is doing exactly that. She's zooming in from beautiful Colorado today, but she's also got a property in Hawaii, and she does a lot of short-term and mid-term rentals. So Kim, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Glad to be here.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about what your current portfolio looks like. You're zooming in from Colorado. Tell us about your Colorado property, and then tell us about your Hawaii property.
We own two properties in Colorado, one being our main residence in Southeast Aurora, a little south of Denver, and then Fairplay South Park, it's also known as, at 11,000 feet is what we call the cabin, where rustic meets modern, if you will.
And that's primarily, is that a short-term rental or mid-term rental up there?
That is our second home that we, in which we share with folks, where they can rent from 2 days up to about 24 nights.
All right. So short-term rental in that example there. Now, what about the property in Hawaii? Tell us a little bit about that one.
It's 30 seconds from the shore on the northeast side, about maybe 15 minutes from the famous Pipeline Beach.
So remind us, for those of us that aren't that familiar, which island is that on Hawaii?
Oahu, the island of Oahu, where Pearl Harbor is, but on the other side.
Yeah. Very good.
And we have two one-bedroom units with air conditioning, everything that you need, and once again, parking, step to the beach.
So how long have you had these properties as rentals? The Colorado one and the Hawaii one?
Colorado's been nearly a decade that we have had that property in the mountains. And 10 years for the home I'm sitting in right now in Aurora. And then in Hawaii, we purchased the Hauula home in 2020 during the pandemic.
Very nice. Now, did you purchase that specifically as a rental, or were you guys kind of looking at that as a place to live yourselves, or what was the goal with that?
Both, actually. We wanted to have a long-term family member live there because of the situation with the pandemic lockdown at that time. Place where we could hunt, fish, fend for ourselves, grow our own food. And we have a unit there. Actually, I have 2 units there, and then we would just rent out the other 2.
Very good.
So I still maintain a unit at the site, at the property.
You've got your own unit there as well. Very good. Very good. So what do you like the most about short and mid-term rentals, and what do you not like so much about it?
So I do like the fact that it can run in the background on autopilot to a degree. And property management is where it gets a bit challenging, because if you do not have a certified property management company taking their cut and you being completely hands off, then you find yourself being an owner who self-manages and goes through the challenges of toilet flappers, ACs, being down and then being involved directly with those types of trivial matters that are important. It's just not how you make
you
the
want
money,
to spend
right?
your time necessarily. Yeah.
No.
Especially with time zone differences between here and Hawaii, that might be a little bit challenging. So do you have full-time management for the Hawaii property, or how do you do that?
I have boots on the ground. It's just once again, not a certified management property. It's just too small of a property to enlist inexpensive. I shouldn't use the word expensive, but it's a little overzealous for my operation.
Yeah.
So I do have a partner who assists. She is a colleague of mine. I hire her my assistant. She's everything. She writes for me and she helps to manage the property 5 days a week. So at least I get Monday through Friday as a break. And then
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday, I'm on call.
you're on call. And what about the
Yeah.
property in Colorado? Is that self-managed? You guys take care of
That
that?
that is also self-managed. However, we have a very engaging team there where it's good. It's almost similar to what we have in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaii, we have a handyman and they're a couple. Handyman is the husband, contractor. The wife is the cleaner. Not that
Mhm.
that, means anything. Sometimes she fixes things and it works out great because they're a team.
Yeah.
They complement each other. I have the same thing in Colorado
Nice.
and it works out well with all the other vendors who do snowplow and the propane fill is on auto. So that one's more on an autopilot unless there's a huge repair
Hmm.
and then it's something else. And then I'm dealing with that contractor wise because I
Right.
manage all my own projects as well
Very
on
good.
that
So
end.
are you
Yeah.
planning on expanding and getting more properties in the short and midterm rentals?
I would really like to offer a special project in the future when the timing is right.
Hmm.
And that would be to convert most of the land in Colorado in the mountains towards housing, affordable housing for people who work on the mountain at the ski resorts
Mm,
because
huge
they have
need.
nowhere to rent
Yeah.
and they're forced out of their own town where they can easily get to the mountain in a couple of minutes. And now they're having to travel during the winter season on the roads, and it's dangerous and it's unnecessary. And so, us being a landowner, my husband and I, our trust, we want to develop it. However, there is much to do and there's phases. We have the whole plan. We just
Mhm.
haven't executed. We have to drill a couple more wells.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a fantastic plan. There's a huge need for that kind of thing. That's for sure.
There is.
So
Mm-hmm.
over the last decade or so that you've been doing short-term and mid-term rentals, what have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned? Like what really pops out that you didn't know when you first started that you definitely understand these days and what comes a lot easier now than it used to?
I believe this happens with everyone who doesn't start off as a straight up 100% business. If it's a second home, you tend to treat the setup as you would your own home.
Mm,
And you're not looking at the bottom line and seeing that these towels are going to probably get ruined in a year. And why are you going to invest in those sheets that are super soft with the, flannel and the Egyptian cotton, the cuddle duds, when it is really truly going to get ruined. People are going to bleed on it, barf on it. I mean, not to be grody, but just it happens,
yeah.
right? And so you have to take on that more commercial, industrial fashion, not make it look like that, but not
Yeah.
be so attached. So why would you bring in a family heirloom or a crest on the wall when someone could easily walk away with it? So I have guidelines and I typically set up all the rentals at from TJ Maxx, Ross, and those type of stores because I mean the same buyers for Macy's and Nordstrom, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's a good lesson. Yeah. It sounds like you learned that one the hard
That's
way.
the biggest one. I
Yeah.
would be furious when I would show up at the home I would share and not all of my forks and my coffee maker scooper and the curtains with you just cannot be attached to it.
Yeah.
It's the cost of doing business. And I knew that going into it, but you don't feel it until you're there.
Yeah.
And so I've detached myself and I don't have that issue anymore when I visit the property. I actually enjoy myself when I go up there.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So
I know, right?
besides that, what kind of comes easier to you now than it did early days, besides that attachment and just kind of overspending on too nice of stuff?
Smartphones are a great thing, and we have to thank all the Steve Jobs in the world for creating that little computer because without that phone,
Mm,
I mean, you can literally be in Egypt, okay, or Europe and be running your operation from your phone. And that's magical to be able to respond in Spain or and you've got people checking in and everything's working great. You set it up right and you monitor it regularly and you keep a short leash on everything is really the best advice. And it will work well and it will bring in the funds, but you have to have a pulse on it on the
Yeah.
back end. The accounting, you have to be able to see trends, keeping things fresh. Everything's linked to it, really, you know?
Yeah. Very,
Mm.
very well said. Well, excellent. Well, it sounds like you guys have got some interesting plans for the property in Colorado. What about Hawaii? Are you planning to buy any more property there? Or are you going to expand that operation, or what are your thoughts there?
You know, I attended a couple of these multifamily seminars months ago, and I gained quite a bit of knowledge base to have that be a possible next direction in real estate because single family homes, and this isn't to down anyone's new, recent investment. It's just not where I'm 54 now and life is too short. And so I'd like a return on the investment a lot sooner and be out of the whole property management thing. I don't not want to share our home in the mountains anymore. I just believe that having a fourplex in Hawaii is expensive and it doesn't return the investment that you put in a property that is near the beach
Mm.
because you're constantly having to encapsulate it and ensure that it's not rotting out from the
Oh,
salt,
I
right? The
forgot about
onshore
that. Yeah,
winds.
salt water just eats everything. The
Corrosive.
electronics, everything. Yeah, it's
I
forgot
mean,
about that.
you'll even see, I know this sounds strange, but you'll see rust on the plastic items that you
Yeah.
have there, and you're like, I've
How's that even
never
happen? How's
bought
that possible? Yeah. And if it
that.
doesn't rot, it just eats it. I know my mother
Yeah.
used to live in Mexico, very near the beach, and
Oh,
yeah, it was
okay.
yeah, we had those experiences for sure. Awesome, Kim. Well, hey, if people are going, that lady sounds like she's got some nice properties, I might want to check them out next time I'm going to Hawaii or Colorado. How can they find out more about you and your properties, Kim?
I would say message me on Instagram or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is typically a trustworthy site. I'm Kimberly Kim in quotes Cano on LinkedIn, and I believe that's how we met as well, right? And they mentioned this podcast, the Property Profit, and I'll institute a concession for you. How's
Oh,
that?
that's very nice. That's very
Yes,
nice of you.
absolutely.
Awesome, Kim. Well,
Yeah,
hey, I wish you and your husband all the best with the new project in Colorado. That sounds exciting. And if you
yeah,
venture into the whole multifamily space, that's exciting as well. So I wish you all the best.
yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.